Hey everyone. So you decided to make Greeley, Colorado your new home.
With your pet.
That's right. And we're here to help make that transition as smooth as possible for both of you.
Greeley is a fantastic place for pets.
Yeah, I agree. There's so many amazing trails and open spaces,
That outdoor lifestyle is a huge part of what makes Greeley so special.
but it does mean there are some unique challenges to think about when it comes to our pets.
Absolutely. Like our climate.
Yeah, those winters can get pretty intense.
And the summers, too.
Definitely. So it's not just about finding a good dog park.
It's about understanding how to keep your pet happy and healthy in this specific environment.
Right, exactly. We actually talked to a local vet here in Greeley.
Oh, perfect. What did they have to say?
Well, one of the first things they emphasized was regular vet checkups.
Makes sense. I mean, with the drastic temperature swings we see here.
Yeah, from those freezing winters to scorching summers.
Our pets really need that extra care.
So we're talking more than just that annual checkup.
Right. We need to think about seasonal care, too.
Okay, so what does that look like?
Well, in the winter, you've got to be really careful about frostbite.
Oh, yeah. Especially on those little ears and paws.
And all that de-icing salt can be really irritating to their skin.
So wiping those paws down after a snowy walk is a must.
Definitely. A good rule of thumb.
And with all the fireplaces we have around here,
I know, right? Cozy, but...
we have to be extra careful about things like smoke inhalation.
Oh, absolutely. And even accidental burns.
It's easy to forget about those things.
The vet also mentioned dry skin being a big problem in the winter.
Right. That dry Colorado air.
Can really take a toll on their coats.
So a good moisturizer
Or even supplements.
is something to talk to your vet about.
Definitely. And then, of course, when summer rolls around,
We've got the opposite problem.
heat.
Ugh. Yeah.
Way too much of it sometimes.
We see so many cases of heat stroke here in Greeley.
Especially with dogs.
It's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
And it's so easily preventable.
The #1 rule?
Never, ever leave your pet in a parked car.
Even for a minute. Seriously. That temperature inside can skyrocket.
In no time.
It's terrifying. And a lot of people love to take their dogs hiking or running in the summer.
Oh, yeah, it's beautiful out there.
But even a short walk on that hot pavement can burn their paws.
Ouch. I hadn't thought about that.
So always check the pavement temperature before you head out,
Good tip. And make sure your pet has plenty of fresh water.
both inside and outside.
Couldn't agree more. Staying hydrated is so important.
Okay, so we've covered the extreme temperatures.
What else?
What about all the other things that can affect our pets year-round?
Yeah, like diseases or pests.
What are some of the things we should be aware of here in Greeley?
Well, the vet specifically mentioned tick-borne illnesses.
Like Lyme disease,
Exactly. We've got a lot of ticks in the area,
especially in those grassy, wooded areas.
where our dogs love to explore.
So even if you're just hanging out in your backyard,
It's important to be vigilant.
and don't forget about heartworm,
Mosquitoes.
another year-round concern here.
Regular preventative medication is key for both ticks and heartworm.
Absolutely. Can't stress that enough.
And we have a lot of wildlife in Greeley,
Oh, yeah. Deer, rabbits, even the occasional coyote.
which can be a risk for our pets.
Encounters with wildlife can lead to injuries or even diseases like rabies,
So being aware of your surroundings when you're out and about is crucial.
especially when you're hiking or walking in those wooded areas.
Wow, there's a lot to think about.
Yeah,
It sounds like having a good relationship with a local vet is essential.
you got that right. They can help you navigate all of this.
I think that's a great place to transition to our next segment.
Sounds good. I'm ready when you are. It really is. I mean, a vet who knows your pet.
And your lifestyle.
Exactly. That's so important. They can give you advice that's tailored to your pet's specific needs.
Makes sense. So speaking of specific needs,
Yeah.
I'm curious about those less conventional pets.
Okay.
We've talked a lot about dogs and cats.
Sure.
But what about folks with livestock or more exotic animals?
Oh, Greeley actually has a pretty diverse pet population.
I can imagine.
And the best part is,
Yeah?
there are vets here who specialize in all sorts of animals.
Big heads.
Horses, chickens, reptiles, birds, you name it.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It is?
So no matter what kind of critter you share your life with,
You can find a vet who gets them.
that's so reassuring.
It really speaks to the whole pet-loving culture here in Greeley.
I love that. So beyond those regular checkups and preventative care,
Right.
what are some other things pet owners in Greeley should be prepared for?
Good question.
Like what about emergencies?
Oh, emergencies definitely happen.
Yeah,
It's so important to be prepared.
I agree. What did the vet have to say about that?
Well, they really emphasize knowing where the nearest emergency animal hospital is.
Oh, for sure. And having their contact information readily available?
Exactly. I mean, I have those numbers saved in my phone.
Me too.
Yeah.
But it's probably smart to have a physical copy somewhere too.
Oh, absolutely. Just in case.
You never know.
And familiarize yourself with the route.
Oh, that's a good point.
You don't want to be fumbling with directions in a stressful situation.
Right. In the heat of the moment.
When every second counts.
Such practical advice.
And the vet also mentioned having a pet first aid kit on hand.
Not for first aid kit. What kind of things would go in that?
Well, things like gauze antiseptic wipes,
Okay.
tweezers for removing ticks, a pet thermometer,
Gotcha.
and even a muzzle,
A muzzle.
just in case you need to restrain your pet to provide care.
Oh, that makes sense.
Oh,
Especially if they're in pain or scared.
exactly. And don't forget basic information,
Right.
your vet's phone number, any medications your pet is currently taking,
Okay.
and even a photo of your pet.
In case they get lost.
Exactly. It could really help with identification.
This is all great advice, but it's also a bit overwhelming.
I know there's a lot to think about.
It's starting to feel like there are a million things to worry about.
But remember, the key is to be informed and prepared,
Right.
not to live in a constant state of worry.
So how do we strike that balance?
Yeah, how do we enjoy all the amazing things Greeley has to offer with our pets?
While also being responsible and prepared.
Well, first of all, find a vet you trust
Okay.
and build that relationship. They're your best resource for information.
And they can help us prioritize, right?
Absolutely. What are the must-dos versus the nice-to-haves?
Exactly. And don't be afraid to ask questions.
The more you know.
The more confident you'll feel.
I think that's great advice.
So before we wrap up,
Yes.
any final thoughts for our listeners who are about to embark on this Greeley adventure with their pets?
You know, Greeley truly is a pet-friendly community.
It really is.
There are so many wonderful things to experience here with your pets.
I know.
Just remember to be prepared,
Okay.
be informed, and most importantly,
What's that?
have fun.
Well said. It sounds like Greeley is a place where pets are truly part of the family,
I think so.
and that's heartwarming. We've covered so much ground in this deep dive,
We have.
from seasonal care to emergency preparedness.
It's a lot to take in.
I feel so much more equipped to navigate pet ownership in Greeley.
Me too. And I hope our listeners feel the same way.
Knowledge is power.
And when it comes to our pets, that power translates into healthier, happier lives.
For everyone. So as we wrap up this deep dive,
Yes.
let's leave our listeners with a thought-provoking question.
Okay. I like it. Now that you know the importance of finding a great vet in Greeley,
How will you go about choosing one that's a perfect fit for you and your pet?
that's a great question.
Don't worry, we've got you covered.
Yeah.
Be sure to check out our show notes for a list of local veterinary clinics.
And some helpful tips on making that decision.
Finding the right vet is an investment in your pet's well-being.
It's a partnership that will pay off for years to come.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into pet care in Greeley, Colorado.
We had a great time.
We hope you feel empowered and excited to embark on this new chapter with your furry friend. All right, so we've talked about the climate, the pests, those unexpected emergencies.
Right.
But let's get down to the basics of preventative care. I know the vet we talked to had some specific advice about vaccinations.
They did. They really stressed the importance of starting vaccinations early, keeping up with those boosters.
Throughout your pet's life.
Absolutely. It's like the foundation of good preventative care.
So what are we talking about here? What are the essential vaccines for pets in Greeley?
Well, for dogs, the core vaccines are rabies, distemper, adenovirus, parvovirus, and parainfluenza.
Okay.
And for cats, it's rabies, feline viral, rhinotracheatis, calcivirus, and panleukopenia.
Wow, that's a mouthful.
I know, right? There are a lot of them.
Yeah.
But luckily, they're often shortened to DAPP for dogs and FERCP for cats.
Oh, okay, that's easier to remember.
Right. Much simpler.
So those are the must-haves.
Yeah, the non-negotiables.
But I remember the vet also mentioning some optional vaccines.
They did. Those are chosen based on your pet's lifestyle,
Yeah.
their potential exposure to certain diseases.
So for example,
If you're out hiking with your dog a lot in those grassy, wooded areas, the vet might recommend the Lyme disease vaccine or even the canine influenza vaccine if they're around a lot of other dogs.
so it's all about tailoring the protection to the specific risks.
Exactly. One size doesn't fit all when it comes to vaccinations.
And they also talked about the importance of a holistic approach to pet care.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about vaccines.
It's about the whole picture.
Right. Diet, exercise,
Dental care.
even mental stimulation,
It's about looking at the whole animal.
and preventing problems before they start.
One thing they specifically highlighted, was spaying or neutering.
Oh yeah, that's a big one.
It's not just about preventing unwanted litters.
It can also have health benefits and help with behavioral issues.
And of course, it helps reduce the number of pets in shelters,
Absolutely, which is a huge issue everywhere.
including Greeley.
Definitely. And speaking of things that can help lost pets,
Microchipping.
such a simple thing, but it can be a lifesaver.
So true. I know so many people who have been reunited with their lost pets thanks to microchips.
It's amazing how well they work.
And the vet also stressed the importance of regular dental care.
Oh yes, dental disease is incredibly common in pets.
And it can actually impact their overall health.
It can. You wouldn't believe the connection between oral health and overall well-being.
What are some signs of dental disease that we should be looking out for?
Well, things like bad breath,
Okay.
red, or swollen gums,
Gotcha.
difficulty chewing, or even excessive drooling.
Okay. I'll definitely be paying attention to those things.
Good. It's always better to catch things early.
I have to say, I'm feeling so much more prepared to be a responsible pet owner in Greeley.
I'm glad to hear that. I think
Right.
that's the goal of this whole deep dive.
Right. To give our listeners the knowledge and confidence to care for their pets.
In this unique and wonderful environment.
Absolutely. Greeley is a fantastic place for pets.
It really is.
And with a little preparation and the guidance of a great local vet.
We can ensure that our furry friends thrive here.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it helpful and informative.
And remember, if you have any questions or concerns about your pet's health,
Don't hesitate to reach out to a trusted veterinarian.
they're your partners in keeping your pet happy and healthy for years to come.